play Vagabond. Alexa, play Vagabond.
Here's your story.
Well, that didn't work out. So, you've reached another episode of KingCast, Corruption Meets Camera. Hi, Pepper. And today we have a pretty big budget. So what we're going to do is I'm going to outline what I want to talk about, and then I'm going to talk about it. And here it is. So, in order, what we're going to address today is following the money with BLM a little bit. We're going to talk about statues and the BLM platform. We're going to talk about BLM Seattle protest litigation that's going on. We're going to talk about media abuse in Wisconsin while exposing foreclosure fraud and the BLM response to that. We're going to talk about Facebook and BLM's evolving posture on that. We're going to talk about the cannabis discrimination that's rampant here in Washington and elsewhere. It's all featured in the current Leaf. Okay, you got to read this tonight. I haven't had a chance to read it yet. We're going to talk about BLM's changing posture on that, what they did and didn't do thus far. We're going to talk about My Life with Daily Cost, the political chat forum, vis-a-vis Sean King's involvement with that same platform. Okay. And then we're going to have some precatory words for people who still dismiss racism, because this is not going to be just some kind of a BLM slam fest. Life isn't that simple, okay? And my reactions and your reactions shouldn't be that simple either. So it's a multifaceted thing going on here, and I'm going to try to address a lot of it right now. Okay. Shut up. Shut up. All right. Well, I should do it. Since it is a fireside chat. That's silly. I'm going to start roasting in a minute, but whatever. Okay, so the first thing is, no, this is not going to be some rant session about BLM. That's not going to happen. Michelle Darnell wrote me today, and she kind of asked how I can have thoughts on both sides of this thing without my brain exploding, and I sent her back an image from the movie, the video from the movie Scanners, and I said, yeah, my brain is exploding. I know, honey.
Hi, Pepper. Hi.
And I said, yeah, my brain is exploding. But anyway, yeah, I sent her that for shits and grins, but that's, it is what it is. So, all right, let's talk about following the money, subject one. Yes, BLM is a complete corporate juggernaut at this point, all right? And whatever they say, it seems to me that they're definitely de facto, if not de jure, but more de facto funder for the Dems. Okay, so what? And Soros funds that. Okay, the Ford Foundation and Soros, his stuff, his foundations are 100 million, BLM 33 million, something like that. Okay, so what? All right, the Koch brothers do the same thing on the Republican side. So much of that is just so much butthurt, and whether or not you agree or disagree with Soros and his movement and whatever that's about. Okay, so that's neither here nor there, really. So I don't think any of that's really necessarily dispositive as far as the corporate structure is concerned. But I'll get to something in a few minutes, though, when we get to daily costs that is relevant, involving a corporate mindset. Okay, but that's not yet. Yeah, so Koch brothers are doing the same thing. So whatever. Okay, now we get to the statues and the BLM platform. Okay, BLM wants to take down the statues. Okay, and I think I talked to my father about that. And he had said that he kind of agreed with removal of the statues, okay, of the historically racist statues. And if anybody should know, it's my dad, born before the Second World War, or right before it, and lived in the South, rural South Tennessee, dealt with lots of discrimination and all that stuff. So, but then I presented to him my plan, which was, say for example, instead of taking down, say, Christopher Columbus statues and stuff like that, I said, well, don't do it that way. Why don't you just instead put up a statue of Geronimo or Sitting Bull across from it, and then encourage vibrant discussion, fight speech with speech. And I think that that's a great idea, and he kind of vibed with that. the BLM wants someone taken down, and I don't really agree with that. So the BLM platform also contains some very laudable goals, such as increasing investment in the black community for our entrepreneurs, etc. And everybody knows that banks redline blacks forever. Arabs could come over and get money just like that, open up a bodega, and same thing with housing. So that's historical racism that's going on, and some of that's being addressed by BLM. So you can't just dismiss BLM out of hand. No, I won't do that. Let's talk about BLM Seattle protest litigation. That's ongoing right now. They had sued because I want to applaud them basically for getting behind the lawsuit and having the ACLU back them on it to prevent the Seattle police from using unnecessary force. Because believe me, they were using unnecessary force. Now, were there some people who got out of hand? Sure there were. But some of those people really weren't with the movement anyway. So there were a lot of outside agitators coming in there and doing a lot of that stuff. It's really hard to tell who's whom, all right? But regardless, they were indiscriminately shooting stuff into the crowds and hurting people, and it's not a good look. And so the point of this whole thing was to help address some of the, some of the dangers that were coming to journalists, for example, during all these protests. So if they want to protect journalists, well, let's talk about that in a second too. But, the way it works is that individual people should pay for individual violations. And that's really, how it stands. I'll be right back. So anyway, the house is an echo chamber, man. Those guys are all the way upstairs in the corner of the house and it just bounces across. So anyway, all right. Where was I going to go here? Yes, next. We want to discuss media abuse in Wisconsin while I was busy exposing mortgage fraud, okay? I'm in Wisconsin. You guys have all seen that clip where the guy attacks me for no reason. I'm in there doing my job as a journalist. I'm protecting a white woman who is facing ridicule and suspension by the bar because she is helping homeowners fight unlawful foreclosures, okay? Yeah, Wendy Allison Nora is her name. And she's a veteran doing this kind of thing, and they were going against her, and that lawyer just attacked me. It was unbelievable. And, it's in a post I put up yesterday. You can see it there. It's incredible. And that guy, that lawyer, basically got a slap on the wrist. Nothing on his permanent record for that. If I had done that, what would that look like, okay? So now we come to BLM here, and we talk about the importance of protecting journalists in adverse positions that they just did with the ACLU, okay? Now, my position wasn't quite as adverse, of course. I don't have police lobbing gas at me or anything, but I was clearly discriminated against. I was attacked, my equipment was attacked, and a number of people, given the importance of what I was doing, covering unlawful foreclosures that disproportionately affect the black community, that's important, right? Right. So I talked to local BLM. They said, hey, we got to get on this. We've got to get you a microphone. We're going to get you a stand. And, you said you ran a title company? Yes, I did. Okay, well, that's really important to know because then you obviously have some experience in the field. Yes, I do. Okay, well, let's get right on it. All right? They run up the ladder. What happens? Kibosh. Nothing. Okay? And I just wondered, why? Why not? This is your stated purpose, is protecting journalists. Am I not a black journalist? Have I not worked for a daily newspaper? Have I not edited a weekly newspaper? Have I not shot a couple hundred courtroom videos? What's the story? Okay? So, don't know why that happened, but I think we're going to get to a partial answer shortly. The muckety mucks didn't want to deal with me. Okay, so let's move on to Facebook and BLM. As we know, 77 civil rights organizations made Facebook submit to a civil rights audit, okay? And the part of it involves censorship of black voices as manifest in then Vice President of Diversity, Mark Lucky's soliloquy when he signed out. He was still employed there, okay? And he said, no, look, this is racism going on the platform and on the campus, okay, with Facebook. So, my opposing counsel in the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals tried to say, oh, well, that's just hearsay, and that's conspiracy theories and stuff like that. And I said, no, it wasn't a conspiracy theorist. It was Mark Zuckerberg's own partner, Chris Hughes, who said that Facebook needed to be broken up because it was a threat to our democracy. Okay, that's not that's not hearsay. That's the co-founder's opinion. And furthermore, that statement from Mark Lucky, the vice president of diversity, that's called a party admission under 801. That's the law. I mean, he was employed as a muckety-muck person in the control group, and high enough to be in the control group, managerial, super managerial, and that's what he said. Okay, so that's, people try to erase racism every day. And so anyway, I talked to the local folks here, and I mentioned to them, hey, in my lawsuit, I've uncovered stuff that nobody else has brought up in these litigations against Facebook so far, okay? And I said, you know what? It's going to be enough of that. And so I said, I brought up stuff that nobody's brought up before, like the fact that Facebook's own amicus counsel had recommended that the statutes being misapplied, the absolute immunity that Facebook enjoys for what it does, which is to pluck our intellectual property, make money off of it, and discriminate against us. That's, what can I say? What can I really say? So anyway, the local guy was intrigued by it, a different guy, all right? Said, yep, we got to get you a microphone, we got to get you in there. And he says, oh, by the way, you won First Amendment trials? Yes, I have. You were civil rights related? Yes, they were. They involved black men? Yes, they did. And so we're getting into that thing, and it's, okay, well, this is great. You can make it a natural speaker, okay? You've done public speaking before. You were a trial attorney. Boom, this sounds like a great plan, right? So we, make a few phone calls, and I wait, and I wait, and I wait, and I call him back, and he writes me back and says, hey, I ran it up there, man. Hold on, we should be okay. Then nothing, okay? So, again, that's strike two for BLM and me. That makes no sense whatsoever, all right? And at the time, Sean King was really prominent with the Facebook thing, but see, they apologized to Sean King for censoring him because he's got a lot of power and a lot of money, all right? And he's got big backers. So they apologized to his black ass, all right? Now, my ass blacker than his ass, you better believe it, okay? I ain't saying nothing about high yellow folk. He's still obviously a nigga, all right? But what I'm saying is, this is ridiculous, okay? To have me in that position and then back away when I have credible stuff to say and you've got all these civil rights organizations coming up, no. Then you run away, okay? So, and at that time I had nothing against. I had no animosity toward BLM, none of that at all, okay? I was like, hey, this is a great thing. And I no longer feel that way in some measure. And I have good reason not to, because we're getting to more in a minute. We could say that, the last thing on this topic is, some people can say, oh, King, you're making it all about yourself, there you go, making a story about you. And I'm like, no. Sometimes the story is about me and what happens to me, okay? And what I've seen, that's okay. When I went to shoot that video in Wisconsin, I wasn't trying to make it about me. I was just trying to sit my black ass in the fucking chair, shoot fucking video, go the fuck home. Simple. But no, that's not what happened. And it was through no fault of mine. I was completely professional in that application. Pepper even knows that. There's a natural power. Oh, that's good. So, I have other examples. I'm going to get to somebody else other than me now. Okay, this is going to move on to the next thing. And we're going to talk about cannabis discrimination, okay? Now, I have come across a couple of smart, capable black men involved in the cannabis industry, all right? Oh, God, Pepper, don't. Almost. Sit down. I've come across these two highly intelligent, capable black men who they and other people have uncovered the fact that the Liquor Control Board, the Marijuana and Liquor Control Board in Washington has no authority to do what it does enforcing cannabis laws, okay? They tried to pass House Bill 1626 a couple of years ago, and it died, and then now it's been referred out to the Transportation Committee. Honey, I'm sorry, sweetheart. Just no. So anyway, what happened was that failed, and so they don't have authority to do what they've been doing, okay? And if you watch some of my other videos, you see there's a young lady coming up right now that's set for a hearing in December, and there's a couple other cases too. Okay, so they offered a plea bargain, okay? And what had happened was they're doing that because they think, I think they know that they can't do anything with the case. All right, that's an issue. All right, and yeah. Also, in one instance, these black guys, what they did was they were trying to open up. They set it up, and they were ready to go. And then the next thing you know, they just hold on a second. Jesus Christ! There's no way I can turn my phone off. All right, and do this. Okay, so yeah, so that's an issue there. And what they did was they submitted their paperwork, okay, and like several times to get licensed or whatever they were trying to do, whatever objective they were trying to reach. They submitted their paperwork several times. Then they couldn't get anywhere. Then they gave the same paperwork to a white woman who walked it in, bam, approved, just like that, and their names were on the paperwork even. So. I mean, so they have a case they're trying to bring up now for racial discrimination right there, okay? And what's the tie-in? They went to BLM. BLM, they got further than I did. They had a date scheduled, okay? And boom, somebody put the kibosh on it. Why is that, all right? Okay, these black men, they're not criminals. I mean, not to, make a huge deal out of Greg Floyd's previous record or whatever, but they're not criminals. They're not in trouble with the police. They have no criminal history. They're just black men, successful, professional black men like me, trying to make a difference in the world. And they're reaching out to BLM, and they got nowhere, and they got, played off. And I don't understand that, okay? That's the part where I think BLM is full of shit. And I'll say it. I don't give a shit what people think about me. I'm past that. I'm just going to say what I have to say. Either way, chips fall as they may. So now we're going to get to daily costs, all right? Daily Costs and their evil twin Fire Dog Lake. Daily Costs is a allegedly progressive or liberal chat board, okay? And what they do there is, or what they did to me was, they both of them threw me off their chat boards. Why? Because I was repetitively attacking Kelly Ayotte. She was a one-term U.S. Senator. At the time, she had been the Attorney General of New Hampshire. I was attacking her for being dirty and coming after me because she had got me indicted. She helped get me indicted when I was NAACP legal chair over some bullshit that got dismissed out, okay? And the police chief and the prosecutor involved were both fired for malfeasance and incompetence and fraud. So I was right, but only a couple of people on Daily Costs had my back. Most of them were like, this guy's a shit stain on the face of the legal profession, all this stuff, okay? But my brown sisters were saying this shit, all right? And I was like, really? How could you possibly say that? I have no criminal record. I have records of wins. I have records of stuff I did for civil rights litigants, white and black, stuff for the handicapped, all of it. Why would you tell me that I'm a shit stain on the face of anything? Because I'll tell you why. Daily Costs is run by Marcos Mulitsas, who used to be a CIA operative, okay? And like I say, there's no such thing as used to be a CIA operative, okay? It doesn't happen to me. Oh, I used to be affiliated with the CIA, but I'm not anymore. Okay, sure. So, but here's the tie-in. Sean King is a columnist for Daily Costs, okay? So you can see the scenario unfolding there, all right? I approach Sean King or BLM about something. It gets run up the ladder. Now, I can't explain that with my cannabis friends. I can't explain that. But for me, they run up the ladder and they're like, oh, nope. He's off limits, okay? Doesn't matter how much merit the nigga has. That nigga's off limits. Done. Okay? This nigga's tired of that. And I'm exposing it. That's what I'm saying, all right? Now, I'm coming to the last part. Don't forget this part, okay? Some precatory words of caution for people who dismiss racism. So now, folks, all right? I don't want to put any wind in your sails or increase your references to what's going on in Chicago, all right? All right? There's always a, well, what about, okay? I'm here to talk about reasonable black people who are not criminals, all right? And what kind of justice do we receive, and can we anticipate any help from BLM, and when? That's what I'm talking about here. I'm talking about my people, like the client, my video client that was called a moolie at New York Life, when he was working on generating more generational wealth for blacks, okay? This is one of the goals of BLM, right? Right, okay? And because we all know the pernicious effects of years of discrimination, have led to blacks having less household per capita income and less, all of that, okay, generational wealth. So I go to BLM over that. Nothing, okay? And I'm talking about they've had court victories already with reputable lawyers representing them. Not me. I'm just over here covering the video portion, all right? You can talk, talk to their lawyers, blue blood lawyers representing these black men, okay? Can we get some help for them? No, they're not in our target range, okay? Why not? It's just kind of grating, okay? So anyway, I guess at this point, I want to say that what I wonder is, look, I hope you people can see that racism still exists out here, okay? Whether or not you like every aspect of BLM's approach to it, I like some of them, some of it I don't. But don't be so bent on deflection over these real issues that are out there, because they're out there, all right? And if it's going to be that way, then, I just got to say that between some of you people at BLM and some of you people who are deflectors, somewhere in between that, in that spectrum, that's my operational field. And those are the subset of people that I'm comfortable with, and those are the people I'm working with right now, emailing right now about some stuff going on with the schools, my proposed curriculum there to add awareness of some of these issues going forward. And that's it for now. We're going to go upstairs and play some more Wii. Wii is the best. Okay, they got the tennis, the bowling. It's old school, but it's fun. And that's it for now. I may even go outside. Yeah, I might do that and go to the beach. And of course, the motorcycle's coming out. And Pepper's got to go for a run and chase some squirrels and stuff. But anyway, guys, have a great day. That's my bit for the afternoon. And if you see this magazine out there, pick it up. Read it. I'm about to. This is Leaf, Northwest, the equality issue. Okay, ciao. Wait. And that's a wrap.